What is that actually? That actually happened.
Of course it happened. I think this is a reflection of how just.
Oh my God!
Why people favor Elon Musk over Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates. There was a time, a simpler time, when you'd probably never hear of the CEOs of most of the companies whose products you use. The general public has been able to remain blissfully ignorant of how badly these high-powered executives have been stiffing them, and the internet hadn't yet made it possible to find out everything about, well, everyone. These days though, with every company and their CEOs on Twitter, more information comes to light than ever, and people like Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, and Elon Musk are more widely known than most pop stars. But why is it that people like Elon Musk so much, but seem to revile both Bezos and Bill Gates? Let's jump in and take a look. You're with Best of Tens. Let's start off with his modest beginnings. Elon Musk was born in South Africa to a Canadian mother and South African father, but he headed to Canada and eventually the United States at a young age. He studied at the University of Pennsylvania and got a bachelor's degree in economics and physics before heading to Stanford in California to study more. He changed his mind though and went to work in the world of business, co-founding a company called Zip2 with his brother that was bought by Compaq in 1999 for $300 million. He had other projects though, including BankX.com that would become the basis for PayPal, and eventually that was bought as well for $1.5 billion. Musk though moved into what he really cared about, and that was space and tech. He founded SpaceX in 2002 and designed it to get the human race to Mars, thereby saving us from a hypothetical doomsday scenario by ensuring some of us are on another planet. It sounds ridiculous, but that's the way this man's mind works. And you should be glad that he seems to care about you. Of course, he would go on to join Tesla Motors as chairman, found Solar City, which became Tesla Energy, and OpenAI for friendly artificial intelligence. He seems to have watched a few too many dystopian sci-fi movies and have made very smart decisions when it comes to avoiding nightmarish future hypothetical realities. But then, he is an outspoken eccentric who has little to no filter and tells people exactly what he thinks while trying to figure out the best ways to help the human race. While his Twitter statements anger most of the social justice warriors on the platform, most everyone else in the real world thinks he is a great human being, well worthy of being the richest man in the world and Time Magazine's Person of the Year for 2021. This is likely because of a few factors. As mentioned, he is pretty honest, telling people what he thinks and behaving a lot like a guy you could just have a couple of beers or joints with. If his Joe Rogan, PewDiePie, and Saturday Night Live appearances are anything to judge from. He laughs at himself and isn't afraid of parody. His attitude to science and business all appear to be done in the best interests of people and their freedoms too, which is why he has clashed with the authoritarian left so often. A combination of his down-to-earth personality, self-deprecation, and quirks, particularly his obsession with meme-based cryptocurrency Dogecoin, have endeared him to the people of this planet. When you want to compare Elon Musk to Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates, however, you need to look at their backgrounds and careers too. After all, a lot of their stories are the same. Bezos was born in New Mexico and raised in Texas and Florida. He went to Princeton, where he graduated with a degree in electrical engineering and computer science. He worked in Wall Street and eventually created Amazon, a company that now dominates e-commerce over almost all of the world. Even though Bezos founded the company on a cross-company trip as just a simple bookstore, his reasons were largely based on an attempt to turn it into the juggernaut it is today. It begins with the letter A, because it's the first letter in the alphabet, He sold books because he reasoned that it would allow him to grow. But his goal was always to have Amazon be a technology company that specialized in simple transactions. So simple, in fact, that no one would choose traditional means of buying their books, tech, DVDs, and whatever else. Bill Gates is similar to Bezos and, of course, Musk. Born in Seattle in 1955, Gates went to Lakeside Prep School at 13 and began writing software programs. He was extremely interested in writing in BASIC, and it was precisely this that led him to a deal with micro-instrumentation and telemetry systems, working on an interpreter for their Altair 8800, dubbed Altair BASIC. Combining the terms microcomputer and software, he created Microsoft, a company that is now responsible for the lion's share of office work around the world, thanks to the creation of Windows, which was designed to take down Apple's Macintosh and its operating system. These days, Gates is most known for his speeches at the World Economic Forum and his charitable work with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, which has led him being considered a philanthropist. So, now that we can see three similar stories of three similar men, what is it about Bezos and Gates that make people dislike them so, while they seem to like Elon Musk so much? Well, here are a few things you should consider. Musk is absolutely a philanthropist, constantly discussing how his inventions and endeavors may best benefit the human race. He talks constantly and very publicly about these points, passionately and enthusiastically. His efforts to improve space transportation technology seem ultimately designed to save the human race and the planet. Bezos, by contrast, simply once said that he had so much money from Amazon's titanic global stranglehold on e-commerce that he couldn't think of another way to spend it than to fund space tourism. He does not in any way seem to care or even consider most of the rest of the people on the planet, which the average Joe doesn't really like very much. Gates, on the other hand, has said and done a number of extremely shady things in his career that have made people wonder if he is actually against the rest of humanity. We all remember the mistake he made at his TED Talk, though the mainstream media have done what they can to make the footage disappear. In this speech, he actually went as far as to claim that vaccines were the answer to overpopulation. Most people take terms like that with a pinch of salt. But the reality is, if you were to take all of the people in the world and cram them into one place, they'd probably all be able to fit into Rhode Island, or maybe just a bit more than that. In what universe Gates sees that there are too many people on the planet is a mystery, but his attitude to people seems malevolent at best. His foundation, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, have been sued before for their work with vaccines too, with one famous case in India resulting in a lot of deaths, something that has seen Gates all but banished from the country. Gates has also been one of the biggest proponents of fear regarding COVID-19, appearing to want people to stay at home and lose their ability to make money rather than spread across the planet in freedom. So then, if you had three friends, one who was always looking out for you and giving you gifts that made your life easier, one who didn't seem to care or even know your name, and one who was constantly telling you horror stories to make you afraid to leave the house, which one would you want to be around the most? When you boil it down to simple terms like that, it's really not very hard at all to see why so many people are firmly behind Elon, while they look at Bezos as a disconnected one-percenter and Bill Gates as someone they absolutely cannot trust, ever. For more insightful videos, head to the Best of 10's YouTube channel. For entertaining videos, blaze ahead to Best of 10's. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and check out these other videos from Best of 10's.